From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening, Fairbanks, and thanks for joining us. I'm Stephanie Woodard. Daryl Clark is off for the evening. Now, our top story tonight. A federal grand jury has indicted 9 additional people, including 2 Fairbanks residents, in a large-scale multi-state drug conspiracy case that has already led to the indictment of 11 others. Now, that's according to a news release issued today by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Anchorage. Assistant U.S. Attorney Frank Russo says the 9 people are accused of distributing large quantities of cocaine, heroin, methamphetamines, and oxycodone. They're also facing money laundering charges. The indictment names a 40-year-old Etienne DeVoe, 29-year-old Gabriel Haynes of Fairbanks, and former Fairbanks resident 34-year-old Joshua Haynes, among a group of 6 other alleged co-conspirators that hail from Anchorage and Washington State. Authorities say 10 separate co-conspirators tied to the case have already entered guilty pleas. Not guilty pleas for a 20-year-old Fairbanks man tied to a 2011 alleged drunk driving incident that resulted in multiple injuries, including the driver. Jesse Cartier is charged with 4 felony counts of third-degree assault and driving under the influence. According to Alaska State Troopers, back in June 2011, Cartier was driving a GMC sport utility vehicle with 4 passengers in tow when the truck drifted off the road and flipped multiple times. Cartier was ejected from the truck and sustained what troopers called serious critical injuries. A female passenger also was ejected. Now, troopers say excessive speed and alcohol contributed to the accident. All 4 of Cartier's passengers were injured as well. Trial in his case is set for the week of September 30th. A U.S. House subcommittee has passed a bill that would require the Interior Secretary to provide up to $50 million to help states conduct oil and gas assessments. Congressman Don Young says the bill would provide funding for a proposal made by Alaska Governor Sean Parnell to determine the oil and gas potential in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Parnell in May said he was prepared to ask state lawmakers for $50 million towards a seismic program if the federal government was in as a partner. The National Park Service has a maintenance backlog of $13 billion, and Senator Lisa Murkowski says they need to find something besides federal dollars to pay for it. Murkowski today expressed her frustration with the Park Service during a Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee hearing. She said when the lands the government already own have proven too much for the NPS to handle, they shouldn't be looking for more. She suggested using part of the Land and Water Conservation Fund and enhancing volunteer programs to help reduce the maintenance needs.
I always approach requests to purchase additional federal land with some skepticism, and particularly during tough economic times. So I can't imagine why purchasing more is such a priority. It strikes me as almost counterintuitive that we would be adding more lands to the maintenance list when the government already is dealing with such obstacles.
A new housing report out today indicates foreclosure rates in the Fairbanks area are falling. These figures come from CoreLogic, shows foreclosure rates in May 2013 at 0.75%. Now that's down from the same time last year and also lower than the national foreclosure rate. That rate sits at over 2.5%. The report also says the local mortgage delinquency rate is almost 2.5%, more than it was this time last year. This weekend, the Fairbanks Republican women will be hosting an event to honor the late Alaska Senator Ted Stevens. Saturday, beginning at 3 p.m. and ending at 5 p.m. for the 3rd year. The group will host the event in honor of a senator who they say helped our state when it was young by advocating for us. It will be a barbecue for folks to celebrate. However, the University of Alaska Fairbanks will have a display at the event that they need the public's help with. Archived photos of the senator with unidentified people will be on display in hopes that the community can help identify them. The event costs $25 and is open to the public.
Ted Stevens was probably the longest serving senator, and he brought a lot of things to the state. And people will share personal stories, because he was a very hands-on gentleman, and he helped a lot of people in the state, and we were a young state, and he knew that, and he really advocated for us. And so this is just a day to remember, and you know, it's like get out and fun day, because Ted Stevens was such an outdoorsman and enjoyed Alaska so much. There are photos, and the archive at the university is going to have a display at the barbecue, that they need help to identify some of the folks in these photographs that are with Ted Stevens.
All right, when we come back, no more mud at the fair. The Tanana Valley State Fair paved its walkways. And also, we have another edition of our Backyard Barbecue Report. Those stories are next. Stay with us. And welcome back. This morning, representatives from the Tanana Valley State Fair gathered to unveil some changes to the fair that you may enjoy this year. The fairground walkways have been paved for the public for Phase 1 of the ADA state-funded paving project. The purpose of the paving is to create easy access for not only those with handicaps, but to all guests alike. Now, another ribbon cutting was also done to unveil a new dragon sculpture created by Metal Mastery Steel Art and Design in Ferguson Field. Funding made from the dragon during the fair will be given back to those in need in our community. Those with the fair say both of these will help to benefit our community.
It's wonderful for everybody. A lot of people think this is just for people with limited mobility. It's great for everybody. Moms, if you're at home and you want to bring your kids to the fair this year, you're going to want to bring your strollers out. You don't have to get through that mucky gravel when it's raining. It's not going to be muddy. It's absolutely beautiful. The pavement actually starts in here, goes around the entire fairgrounds. Even on the midway where the rides and the carnival is at, there's been paved pathways that go around the rides. They have a very large fire-breathing dragon. I'm sure if you've been at the fair the last couple of years, you've probably seen it. We were actually able to purchase it from them this year. We're going to be handing it down every year, and we're going to continue to add to it for a benefit for the Alaska chapter of MS. So when you come by the fairgrounds, if you want to get your picture on the fire-breathing dragon, we'll take 50% of the proceeds and donate it to the Alaska chapter of MS, which is absolutely fantastic.
The Tanana Valley Fair's theme this year is Salmon Enchanted Evening, and the fair will open to the public August 2nd through the 11th. Throughout this week, the Blood Bank of Alaska has been showing their appreciation to community members who take the time to donate blood and save lives. In return, to thank those donors, the Blood Bank will host a picnic tomorrow. The appreciation picnic will take place from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Fairbanks Center located on 3010 Airport Way. Bad to the Bone will be catering the picnic with hot dog, chips, soda, brownies, and brownies for dessert. There will also be giveaways and a drawing to win a $50 gift certificate from Beaver Sports.
We have to rely on our donors, and anytime we're in need and we put a call out, our donors always come, so we want to show appreciation to them and say thank you for coming out and doing that. From 11 to 3, we're going to have our donor appreciation picnic, just to show appreciation to the members of the community that come out and take time to give blood to help save the lives of our fellow Alaskans.
The Fairbanks Summer Arts Festival is an annual event held right here in the interior. The festival highlights highly qualified guest artists who offer education to participants. The festival gives those interior residents who are intrigued and interested in the arts an opportunity to learn and enhance their skills. This year, the festival has hosted many different venues and performances, including cabaret, creative writing, and dancing.
It's been going on for over 30 consecutive summers in Fairbanks, and it's just a really nice outlet for people of all ages, for people of all levels of accomplishment in the arts or music, to just get involved for this. And it's a very concentrated program. It only lasts for 2 weeks, but it's a really nice outlet for people to kind of explore their creativity.
We will have more tonight on the Fairbanks Summer Arts Festival, and that's Interiortainment during News Center Final. Dan Gilson talks about the meatloaf in this week's Backyard Barbecue Report.
Good afternoon. I'm Dan Gilson, the owner of the Charcoal Supply Company and the pitmaster of the Three Dogs Barbecue Competition barbecue cooking team. This afternoon we're going to be talking about meatloaf. My wife makes a great meatloaf. So today we're using Barb's meatloaf recipe. I've already made it up here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this meatloaf and I'm going to put it in this pan. It's a pretty simple recipe. It's got an onion, got a little bit of milk in there, some Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of salsa. We'll get it in that pan nice and neat, and then I added my own special touch. What I've done is I've decided to take a little bit of our Lead Dog savory barbecue sauce. We're going to put a little bit of that right over the top. And you could use your favorite meatloaf recipe for this as well. Also over here, what I have is I have a grill set up for indirect cooking. I've got a pan in the center and I've got charcoal on either side. All we're gonna do is we're gonna set that meatloaf right in there, and we're gonna check that temperature and open our vents because we want that to be at about 350 degrees. And we're looking pretty good on the temperature. Over here, we already have one that's made. Gonna open this up. And if you'd like, you can add some smoking chips to it so you give a nice smokiness. And there you have it, meatloaf done on a grill. I'm Dan, and this has been the Backyard Barbecue Series.
Brought to you by the Charcoal Supply Company.
Well, Dan is pretty talented with the grill, but Joe Cook joins me now, and he's pretty talented in sports.
Oh, thank you so much.
Anytime.
I'm flattered.
I got your back. What do you got going on tonight?
Well, pretty much some of our local teams, they came away with some statement wins yesterday in tournaments here and around the country.
Wow.
And also, we're going to take a look at tomorrow's Amateur Golf Championship. Our very own Mike Schultz is in that.
I was just going to say.
And plus, we have another update on Kelly Carr's run to Anchorage. That and more after the break. Hello, Interior Sports fans. Joe Cook here in the Sports Seat for you this evening. Hope your day has been going well. To make it a little better, let's talk some Thursday sports. Tomorrow is the start of the Fairbanks Golf Association's Amateur Championship, formerly known as the City Championship. Friday's golf action will be on the Fairbanks Golf Course. Saturday, the championship moves to Chena Bend Golf Course, and Sunday's final round of golf will be at the North Star Golf Club. The competition is flighted by handicap. This year, the FGA is adding a single-day competition for each golf course, so a golfer can do 1, 2, or 3 days, but you have to do all 3 to qualify for the championship. Last year, Adam Baxter won his 4th straight title by 5 strokes. Baxter shot 2 under par for the tournament and was the only golfer to do so. Heather Matheson won by 19 strokes last year for the women, and she knocked off a stroke on each day. Here's FGA board member Lee Williams on the makeup of this year's tournament.
We always try to have all the courses participating in the tournaments, and it's also good to get all of these golfers onto all the different courses. People tend to play at their own home course, and this kind of tests them in a different way. Age of golfers, anywhere from junior golfers all the way through seniors, males, females, and it's basically what we consider our true test to find out who's the best golfer of this area each year.
And this week, 15 Naniks received GNAC Faculty Athletic Representative Scholar Athlete Awards. A student has to have at least a 3.85 GPA to qualify. Of the 15 Naniks selected, 7 were repeat honorees. Teresia Schnur and Michael Fehrenbach of the cross-country teams had 4.0s to lead the Nanik contingent. Schnur and Fehrenbach are 2 of 14 in the conference to have 4.0s. 139 students received this award from around the GNAC. UAF was 5th with 14 selections. Montana State Billings led all schools with 21 award recipients. For the full list of award winners, just go to the webcenter11.com sports page. And they were the last seed, but you couldn't tell them that. The Fairbanks 49ers pulled off a bit of an upset today at Mulcahy Stadium in the American Legion Baseball State Tournament. Fairbanks post 11, the 10 seed, beat Kenai post 20, a 7 seed, 6-4 to advance to the winner's bracket. Taylor Kelsey pitched a complete game for Fairbanks. Lathrop's Terrell Ford hit a 2-1 bomb to lead a 10-hit effort for the 49ers. Now, Cinderella may have a slipper on. The 49ers will take on Juneau, the number 2 seed, tomorrow at 2:30. And yesterday was day 1 of the Bigfoot Hoops Las Vegas Classic Tournament. The Alaska Flight basketball team split 2 games in pool play, but both games came down to the final possession. The 17U team won on a buzzer beater by Reese Robinson of service on a feed from Lathrop's Kyle Carlson to give the Flight a 63-62 victory over the Houston Force. The Flight came back from a 12-point deficit with 4 minutes remaining in that one. The 16U team fell to the Friends of Hoop Seattle team 53-54 in overtime. So Soldotna's Nathan Spence missed a tip-in at the buzzer beater for the Flight. Now, the 17U team is in a 4-team pool with Piedmont Hills High School out of California and the All-Ball Academy from British Columbia. The 16U team is in a pool with the Vegas Rebels and Louisiana Future. The tournament ends this Sunday. Finally, tonight, we have a Kelly Carr update. Carr, as you have heard in our sportscast, is running from Fairbanks to Anchorage to honor the memory of her father who passed away in April from cancer. Carr's run is called This One's For You and is part of the American Cancer Society's Running Down a Dream venture. Carr started from the 360-mile post next to the Mitchell Expressway and Pega Road intersection on Saturday the 21st. Carr is aiming to run at a marathon pace each day as her sister rides along on her bike, documenting the 360-mile journey by foot. As of yesterday, in the latest GPS tracking, Carr is going down the George Parks Highway, having already passed the Leohoa Airport and Rex Anna Trail. She is now approaching the Denali area. To track Carr's progress and make a donation to her run, you can go to Webster11.com sports page. And a final note, the Alaska Gold Panthers and Matsu Miners are tied for first place in the ABL. The Miners are coming off a loss to the Glacier Pilots in their last game. Game 1 of this series, a critical one, starts tonight, and we'll have the highlights for you tomorrow. And that'll do it for sports this evening. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Your full weather forecast is coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Good evening, Fairbanks. Stephanie Woodard here in the weather seat for Mr. Mike Schultz, who is off for the week, enjoying some much-needed vacation and time golfing. Big shoes to fill, but let's start off with our Fairbanks Almanac and let you know all about the weather tonight. Normal highs for today is 71 degrees. Normal low is at 52 degrees. The records for today are a scorching 93 degrees set back in 1955, excuse me. Record low was 40 degrees and set back in 1958. As for amount of daylight today, the sun rose at 4:29 a.m. and will set at 11:25 p.m., giving us a total of just less than 19 hours of daylight, another loss of 7 minutes from yesterday. All right, moving on to weather around our state and current conditions. Starting up north, Barrow is still under cool conditions with cloudy skies in the 40s. Mostly all of the interior today was free from precipitation with diminishing clouds and warm temperatures. Now that should continue into tomorrow and to the start of our weekend. Yes. Over in the southeast, Juneau and Ketchikan have continued to see showers with temps remaining in the 60s, and the clouds have cleared out of the southwest region, and in return, the temps have warmed up to the 70s there. All right, now, as always, time to slide on down to the lower 48 for those with family or preparing to travel. We'll let you know what conditions are like down there. It looks like the rain has returned to the east coast. No thunderstorms yet, and temperatures have cooled greatly in the state of New York. Temperatures remain hot and wet in Miami, and the rain and storms continue in the southern hemisphere and Minneapolis. Now over on the west coast, still hot and dry conditions in Vegas and Phoenix. And as for Seattle, they remain in the 80s with mostly clear skies. All right, back to Alaska for our weather. Tomorrow, starting up north, a mixed bag of weather there with showers in Barrow for tomorrow. High temperatures in Fort Yukon, nearly 80 degrees. Back to the interior for our TGIF, diminishing clouds with temperatures in the upper 70s. Healy has the same in their forecast. However, their temps will clock in at a few degrees less. All right, over to the southeast and more rain. More rain for them. Temps in the 60s, pretty consistent with what they've been having all week. They're definitely getting a lot of use out of their umbrellas and rain boots over there. To the southwest, we head, and it's a mixed bag of weather there as well. Temps in the 60s in Cold Bay and mid to upper 70s in Bethel and Kodiak. We'll wrap up our statewide weather in the Anchorage Bowl. Isolated showers in both Valdez and Anchorage for their Friday. Homer can expect to see partly sunny skies and temps near 67 degrees. All right, well, looks like it's time now for our fishing report. Valdez, the halibut catches are hot, lots of pinks, some silvers. Kenai River is still very slow, 6 fish limit at the Russian River. Matanuska Valley, pinks, reds, and chum in all Parks Highway stream. River and lakes. The Chitna is still low, water is high, and congrats to Jim Culley from Fairbanks. He reeled in a 325-pound halibut in the Valdez Derby. Wow, that's awesome. All right, thanks to Jeans and the Boat Shop for sponsoring our fishing report in the summer. Okay, back to Alaska for our forecast for tonight. Mostly cloudy skies tonight with temps in the 50s. Tomorrow, our skies will be partly cloudy and temperatures will be in the upper 70s, a good start to enjoy our weekend. And finally, let's look at the 5-day outlook. Here it is. We're in the 80s Saturday and Sunday, and it looks like the lows will be in the 50s. That's pretty consistent. Monday, the clouds will be rolling in, but good news is it seems like the rain is rolling out, so temperatures will remain nice and good because next week we're going into the fair, getting ready. Joe?
Yeah.
Are we gonna ride those rides or what?
I'll do it.
I think it's a challenge.
She's bugging me all day.
Yeah, we should do it.
I'll do it.
You'll have a lot of fun. And the fair this year, it is paved,
Oh.
so we don't have to worry about getting our kicks dirty.
Oh, okay. It's news to me. I mean, I'm new here, so hey, all right, okay.
All right, well, that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
And tonight on NBC Nightly News, more on that deadly train crash in Spain, caught on camera, and the latest on the investigation. That's next with Brian Williams.
All right, join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com. And
For me and Stephanie, thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you later.
we're all lonely here. Good night, guys.